So the last video I made, I was talking about screenshotting your trip before you get in the vehicle of rideshare, like Uber and Lyft. There's some other ones out there depending on where you are in the country. There's different other apps also. But you should always screenshot your trip before that driver gets to you. Because when a driver cancels the trip after you've gotten in the car, Uber won't be able to see who that driver was, nor will you be able to see who that driver was. And in the case where I didn't get in the vehicle, for some reason it did show me that was a zero money trip for that driver, and it showed me who that driver was. And that might be something that has changed in the app. But formally, you wouldn't be able to see who canceled your trip and put you out of their vehicle. And Uber wouldn't be able to see it either, so that you could complain about it. But I'm taking my morning walk down to Whole Foods. I got to get me some a few things to go with my breakfast this morning. And it's important. I'm going to reiterate how important it is to plan your trip out. Because on one occasion, so when I was living back in Seattle, I was living down in Belltown. For those that are in the Seattle area, you know me, you know Belltown, you know where I was living. But I was working down on Interbay at the Whole Foods for Amazon, because at that time Amazon had bought Whole Foods, and it was building a part of the company for home shipping. And so we would prepare the orders inside. I'm gonna take a shortcut through here because I don't want to go. There's a hotel in front of me, and I don't want people listening to my conversation as I'm talking into making this video. And I need some shade. Woo, it's hot. Anyway, we would prepare the orders that would go for delivery for people's homes. So sometimes I would take an Uber, and sometimes I would take a bus. But I would say more times in the mornings, I would take an Uber. A lot of times I would get someone who didn't speak English, and I couldn't text to them where I was. I could only use the app to change the location. And that's very important on how to use the app. So if you order an Uber and you order it to the wrong location, because sometimes that happens, you've got to be able to go in there and change the location, especially if a driver doesn't speak English. And if you don't know what language they speak, then you can't even use Google Translate to tell them what's going on. And I use Google Translate often, almost every day. But there was this one occasion, and there was many like this, but this one occasion I was so late because this guy from West Africa put me out of his vehicle. And I was so hurt because I know my neighborhood, I know the one-ways, I know, from 2nd Avenue, it makes absolutely no damn sense to go down to 4th Avenue to make a left, to go over to Denny, to go back down to the waterfront. It made all kinds of sense to take a left through my alley, come out on the other side of the block, which puts a person automatically going down to the waterfront. I tried to explain that to him as he drove past the alley. He didn't give a fuck about what I was talking about. And he kept going. And then I tried to tell him, okay, we're at 3rd Avenue. You can make a left here. He said, I followed the app. And I was so disturbed by the fact that I got so much time to get to where I'm going. And he decides on my trip to just follow the app. So he gets me to a little bit past 3rd Avenue, pulls over, and tells me to get out of his car. I think I got a shortcut here. I'm not going that way because I don't really know where I'd be. Well, yes, I do. That should put me... Oh, a bike shop. Oh, my goodness. Right in the neighborhood. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I just found a bike shop. I got a bike that I'm having shipped down here. And I have to have it put back together. So now I know where to ship my bike to so they could put my bike back together. But anyway, he puts me out on the side of the road. And by the time I got another Uber, I was late for work at Amazon. The guy running the show looked down on me as if he said to me, he said, let me guess, you missed the bus. And I wanted to say no, but I said no. I got kicked out of an Uber. And then, I'll be going the wrong way if I go that way. So, I'm kind of lost, people. Let me go this way and get out of here. Anyway, I'm in a parking lot. I decided to take a shortcut, but I discovered something new. I see where the electric car hookup is. Okay, we got that in our trailer too. But I was very disappointed to have to explain to this boss, who already was feeling some kind of way about me anyway, because they told us when we took the job at Amazon, working at Whole Foods, that there was morning, afternoon, and evening shifts. But there wasn't. They took the morning shifts out of queue so they could give those shifts to whom they wanted to give those shifts to. And all I had left was afternoon and evening. So as time went on, he really wasn't feeling me because I wouldn't take afternoon and evening. As a hairstylist, I wanted to be able to do hair after my shift at Amazon was finished, and if needed, stay up late, not be in a rush and be forced to possibly leave someone's hair until I got off from work or into the next day. But that's a different story. I'll talk about that at a later date. Amazon was on some bullshit with that job. But showing up late really didn't make things good for me because it made it look like I really didn't care about the job. And that's what I meant about economics. If you're depending on a service to get you to your job, then you've got to plan accordingly. Because if somebody's out to get your ass, and they might be, and I'm not saying that East Africans, West Africans, but I've had a few of them, and Caucasians, because the guy that left me the other day was a white guy. He really put me through something, and it could have cost me some problems at my job if I wasn't able to prove through the Uber app that I had that problem. And you know, it's funny that some people wasn't mad before they came to America, but after they get here, where they learning to be mad at? Who's educating them on who they should be mad at? Why is that happening? You know? And it's kind of sad. You know, one time I was doing Uber for a while also. I drove Uber. And I had a ride where I had to go pick up these, eventually when I picked them up, it was some ladies, some white ladies, but it was a brother on the side of the road saying that an Ethiopian man, when he drove up to him, he took a look at him and canceled the trip. And I said, you know, this is Seattle, Washington. You know how often that happens? Too often not to get your Uber early enough so you can plan for the bullshit. And it's really sad because even though I had Ethiopian customers, they treated me well. Some of them tipped me. There was other people who would show up in an Uber who would leave my ass on the side of the road too many times. Too many times for me not to speak about it now. And that's why I'm reiterating. Plan, if you got to go to the doctor, you want to get there on time. You know a doctor's office is not going to let you be later than, 10 minutes? And then your Uber driver drives up, take a look at you, and cancels the trip? Quit. I mean, seriously, quit it. You got to plan ahead. Because when it comes to your money, you cannot have anyone playing with your money. I don't care where they come from. I don't care what they look like. I can't really say that I've had a problem with the African American, but I did in Houston. And actually I was scared. But he wasn't trying to get with me. His energy was really scary to me, and it made me feel like I didn't want him to pick me up in the future. So be careful when you are providing a service also. How you provide that service is going to be important for your economics. If you listening to your thugged out music that you usually listen to with your friends, nope. No. You want to go, I feel, with non-verbal music, like Damien Escobar, jazz. I can't think of his name right now, but I would play my jazz music. I can't think of his name. I will actually type it out in the video because I got to go back to my Pandora. Let me see. It's Wynton Marsalis. And I would thumbs down on any verbal music that came up. Also, FKJ. A lot of hip-hop will come up with him. You want to thumbs down on any verbal music that comes up. That's if you're an Uber driver. And those are the three styles of music that I played the most. Damien Escobar is a violinist. And you can build your stations off of those three. Damien Escobar, Wynton Marsalis, and FKJ. And thumbs down on any verbal music that comes up. Unless you really like the vibe of the music. But I said all of that I've said so far to let you black people know your economics is at risk when you depend on these different apps to get you to your money. And you want to plan ahead of time. Also, females, you want to make sure you screenshot those trips, because you don't know what kind of agenda some of these guys have that will pick you up. And I've seen some horrible videos where people didn't mind doing crimes. So you guys take care. You guys take care. Be careful. Screenshot your trips in advance. Because if you come up dead, at least they can go find who that was that picked you up last. But getting your own vehicle is what I'm on next.